Good afternoon again. Now let us begin our eighth session, which will be a very interesting session as we have our student panelists who are going to share their learning experiences. And for this, we have our chairperson, Teja Shah ji, and who just spoke the previous session. To save some time, let me skip the introduction, and I would call upon all the student panelists to join with the chairperson. Mr. Tenzin Lektenla, please come on the stage, and Ms. Nima Bujila, Mr. Karma Gyaso, Ms. Tenzin Tesil, Sister Sally Joseph, and Mr. Samdru Chibila, please. And without wasting any more time, Chairperson, please chair the session. Thank you.
So good evening, everyone, and thank you for staying for the student panel discussion or presentations. This is something I admire so much about all the Tibet House conferences, that they always include a student panel presentation, which I think is so important and necessary because you are the future, you are also the present. So with that, I would invite first Mr. Tenzin Lekten, who's doing his BSc Physics, Mathematics, Electronics at the Christ University, Bangalore. Yes, please. Or you want a mic? How you want? Please.
Hi, everyone. Nice. I actually first thought of talking about a thought experiment, which is which leads to a contradiction, and I really like thought experiments because they show the limitations of our understanding and what lies after the limitations. And but then I thought like it's more about mathematics, and I thought it's quite abstract, and I also thought that it's not really related to what we're discussing here. And so I finally sort of decided that I would share a little story about one of my favorite physicists, if you all like to hear. So the physicist is called Paul Dirac. He's one of the founding fathers of quantum mechanics. So this story is about Paul Dirac, and it was told by Niels Bohr to, I think it was J.J. Thomson, or it was Rutherford or something. So what is mainly about is Paul Dirac, the physicist, right? He spoke very little words, but he was one of the most brilliant minds we had ever had. But he spoke. Most of his colleagues would say like he only know 2 words, yes or no. So this story is sort of like made around his this behavior of his. So he worked with Niels Bohr first, and then he went on to work with Rutherford. So Niels Bohr was familiar with Paul Dirac, but obviously Rutherford wasn't, because it's the first time he's working with Paul Dirac, right? So Paul Dirac went to work with Rutherford, but Rutherford was very curious about his behavior, because he wouldn't say a word. Like if he says, like he would say only 1 or 2 words, like just nod or something when they're discussing in physics, and they're discussing science obviously, but like he wouldn't say much in the discussions. So Rutherford was very curious about his behavior. So then he wrote a letter to Niels Bohr, and Niels Bohr told this story to Rutherford to sort of like explain Paul Dirac's behavior. So this is how the story goes, right? So Niels Bohr tells the story. So this one customer works into a shop. It's a pet shop, but the customer was looking for to buy a bird, So and then he goes to the bird section, right? And then there's all these birds in, unfortunately, cages. And then on the cages they've got how many words the bird would speak, and then like and the price beneath it. So the customer works in like looking at the bird one by one, and then he first sees this bird, and the bird speaks 5 words, and it was $50. And then he goes to the next bird, which is more colorful and speaks 10 words, and this one's $100. And then he goes to the next bird, and then it sort of the number of words the bird speaks keeps on increasing. The how bright the colors are of the bird, like it keeps brighter, and then like obviously the price goes up. But then at the end there's this bird which is sort of like the colors are pretty dull, and then on the board it says it only speaks two words, right? And but on the price in the price section it says it's $1,000, and the customer was pretty surprised by that, and he goes to the shopkeeper and asks him like, why is this bird $1,000? He speaks only 2 words, and then like it's like the color is really dull, and the shopkeeper goes to him and tells, this bird doesn't speak much, right? He only speaks 2 words, but this bird thinks. And that was like a story Niels Bohr told Rutherford about Paul Dirac. Paul Dirac is one of my favorite physicists. He sort of liked the mathematical beauty in the physical equations, and I kind of subscribe to it, but I just think he's one of the best physicists out ever lived, and this is one of my favorite stories about him. Thank you. I just wanted to share this story with you because it's a really interesting story. I guess that's it. Thank you.
So thank you, Tenzin, for sharing your favorite story about your favorite physicist. And now I would invite Miss Nima Bhuti, who is in the NEET Akash Institute. Thank you.
Hello. Tejing de ochuan khan teni tombangi dushe teni tabade teni umi lamino by forwarding this profound verse of Arya Nagarjuna's verse, which talks about the dependent origination and emptiness. Forward, I would like to share my mere perspective and understanding of what I learned from this conference. I'm no position to speak about what they taught about quantum physics, because yesterday I was really bombarded with the quantum words. Yeah, I studied science. Yeah, I took physics, chemistry, maths in class 11 and 12. But yeah, I studied superposition, but I really didn't understand it, and I still don't understand it. Maybe sometime later, maybe I can understand. So maybe, but from this conference, there are many. In so many disciplines coming together to find common ground and in pursuit of the ultimate truth. I want to share what I found in these two things. It's a simple thing. What I found in Buddhist philosophy and what it's basically taught in modern science is in Buddhist and modern science, I think that what is the common is the relative theory, and from the Buddhist side, it's the dependent origination. From the modern science, it says that what you perceive what you perceive is not the reality. What reality you see is not the reality. So, in Buddhist perspective, what says is the same thing. There is no absolute in everything. Everything arises from one thing or another. Even the state of enlightenment is one way or another dependent, because you must depend on others, your friends, your foe, enemy to gain enlightenment. You have to rely on other sentient beings to attain enlightenment. So what I found common is the dependent origination and the relative theory. Now, many of the neuroscience, neurobiologists, biologists, and physicists give different definitions of consciousness. But what we define in what I perceive as a Buddhist practitioner, what I studied in Buddhist philosophy is consciousness is something formless, something which is transforms from one life to another. It doesn't have any origination. Like every discipline gives a different definition. So what I found is that it's a two road. It's a diverge. I don't know when it will converge and found a common thing about on the consciousness. Maybe the modern science hasn't been in the hasn't in the state of studying the consciousness yet. There is. So my understanding of consciousness, as I've talked about, it's something that's transformed from one life to another. So maybe I don't find any common of consciousness here in this modern science and Buddhist philosophy. Maybe in the near future, it may have a common ground. Maybe we can give a concrete definition of consciousness from both Buddhist philosophy and from both modern science. Now there's two questions that's definitely daunting me for years, because my area of interest is neuroscience and Buddhist philosophy, but I'm not I'm majoring in it right now. First question is, what's now the modern science nowadays is what it traces back to the Galileo is a quantitative science. It means mathematics is the language used in the modern science. So I want to know that, I want to understand that whether studying the quantitative science can really understand the qualitative science, which is consciousness. Okay, consciousness is what some people say it's a byproduct, some people say it's an experience, but I want to really understand whether studying the quantitative science can really understand the qualitative science, which is mental, which is, these are something we cannot perceive, something we can experiment, extract, and study in a lab, and do the things we do in modern science, like hypothesizing, affirming, formulating theories, and something like that. We can't perceive things. Understand this. And the second question is just, advancements in mental science can really change our quality of life. I want to understand this, because advancement in mental science, can study of consciousness, can study of mind, can really decrease the rates of suicide, decrease the emotional stability of the mankind, and mental hygiene, that we are at this level. The advancement in modern physical science really helped in physical hygiene. I don't know when mental hygiene will be at the level of the physical hygiene as right now, but His Holiness always focuses on the mental hygiene, which is very important, I see. So I want to understand just that in advancements in mental science really promote, really help in mental hygiene and help in the quality of life. And I want thank you so much, and I want to thank Dr. Puja for making me realize how much a Buddhist philosophy, and how much it's important for as a Buddhist practitioner and as a student, as a Tibetan, to understand and study Buddhist philosophy in my day-to-day life. Thank you so much.
So thank you so much, Nimala, for your impassioned sharing with us, drawing the parallels and the differences, and pointing to the urgent need and plea for grounding ourselves in a very clear purpose, no matter whichever field we are working in. So I hope that what you're so passionate about, that you will contribute to that field in the near future. Thank you. With that, I would like to invite Ms. Sanika Gupta from the Oak Ridge International School to please come and share her thoughts. She is not here. So I will move to the next speaker, Mr. Karma Gyatso, who is doing the PhD in Computer Science from the Jain University, Bangalore. Thank you.
Hello. Good afternoon, all. I was a little nervous. Actually, I want to talk about how related to my topic, my subject, or related to the quantum physics and neuroscience and Buddhism philosophy. Uh, from quantum physics, sorry, quantum physics in superposition. Actually, my subject is artificial intelligence. It's based on it's artificial intelligence. We need like we need data. We need speed of computer as a based on the Moore's theory. It says like every 1.5 years, it's a speed of performance is double. If we achieve supercomputer, recently Google announced that they achieve supercomputer supremacy. That means the speed of supercomputer is like a 1 mil or 10 sorry 100 million times speed of the supercomputer. That means even the performance of the work of 100,000 years of supercomputer is take only 2 minutes 30 seconds using the supercomputer. So that shows that we can achieve like money. Right now we are developing like a driverless car. We are now using natural processing, recognition of imaging, all are based on the speed of computer. So we can achieve. Right now we have there are many companies who are research on supercomputer like Microsoft, then IBM, Google, etc. Next, I related to neuroscience because my subject artificial intelligence, especially deep learning, is based on the model of neuron. It's like artificial neural network. It's based on we studied based on the artificial neural network, how it's work. Especially recently 2010 onwards, it's deep learning is become so famous because that it has the ability that if we get big data and speed of computer, then it can learn itself. Like right now we have 6 years old brain of 6 years old of child. That brain it can, if you give the data to this one, it's based depends on the data and speed of this one, speed of the computer. So if computer is achieved, then it can learn faster, and that means experts believe that in 2045 this intelligence of the artificial intelligence suppress the human intelligence by 2045. Now I thought to talk about Buddhism philosophy. It's related to both my subject and also always my daily life. Actually, Buddhism philosophy, I think we used to tell like in Buddhism we have Buddhism religion, Buddhism philosophy, Buddhism science. So Buddhism science and Buddhism philosophy we can learn and learn by anybody, no matter what religion, what caste, or what people. I mean, where you from. We can learn all its benefit, not just for study. Its benefits day-to-day life. For my subject, it's related to like emotions. All like we have to studying on AI. We have to. We right now a little bit confused about emotions and consciousness about the AI, whether it's considered. I think I believe in after 50 years, or there will be a new people we call no living being, no living being from living being. There will be a new race that will be artificial intelligence. That time we have to talk about more related to emotion and consciousness. Thank you.
Thank you, Karmala. You touched on a field that I think is important to include also in the future conferences, which is looking at AI and consciousness and the interaction of the two, because this is something which is very much in discussion. Thank you also for sticking to the time. I would now invite Ms. Tenzin Desel, who is doing her BSc in MCZ from St. Joseph College, Bangalore. Please.
Greetings, everyone. So I'm here to share my learning experience. So first I want to say, when I was sitting there on my seat yesterday, what I felt really honored, not just because I get to acquire the vast knowledge from the eminent speakers, but also because I'm surrounded by the audience I'm surrounded by a very interesting audience who questions very interesting questions. So I'm thankful for that. But when I was listening, many things flew over me. Like I couldn't get all things the speakers were speaking about. But from the things that went inside my brain, they clocked my brain, and so many neuron firing happened, and it confuses, like so many confusions happened in my mind. But since as Geshe-la said yesterday, if you have a confusion, you are starting to understand. So I hope I am starting to understand. And so I think and yesterday some speakers also said that if you don't have a wow moment when you learn about quantum physics and quantum mechanics, you don't truly understand the quantum physics or quantum mechanics. But I still didn't have my wow moment, like a big wow moment. So I know that I don't know any of the quantum physics right now. But from a speaker yesterday, I got my small wow moment when I learned that to witness a quantum state, we need to go into a realm where we could we can observe an experiment which happens at the t raised to minus 23 period of the time. So that was a small wow moment for me. So I think I have stepped a little forward towards understanding quantum mechanics. And also I had learned about the famous Schrodinger cat in my high school, but I think I truly started to understand the real beauty behind the cat just yesterday I can say. So lastly, I would like to say the topic I'm going to take away, like a takeaway message from the seminars for me will be everything exists but nothing really exists. So I think that is the thing I'll take away from the conference, and I'll think more about it. And lastly, I would like to thank all the organizers for giving me the opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, Tenzin, for sharing your reflections. Very well noted. And now I would like to invite Sally Joseph, who is a PhD candidate at the Bangalore University.
Good afternoon. I'm Sally Joseph, doing my doctorate at Bengaluru University, and my topic is, unlike the other students, I have taken a topic on interreligious harmony movement in India. With related to that, I had an opportunity of staying with a Buddhist for not for long, but for 2 days at Valedictory in Karnataka. Okay, that is, I really grateful to Mr. Niranjan. He was the one who actually helped me to get in contact with Buddhist at Bailakuppe, and I really had a very good time with them, sharing and being with them as part of their daily routine, and I realized what the Buddhists are doing all about. Great thanks and a great admiration for the Buddhist community at Bailakuppe. I have come here to share my learning experience, and from morning till now I've been listening to consciousness and consciousness and consciousness, and finally I came to my conscience that I need to learn a lot before I start speaking on learning. Okay. As journalism student and a teacher at St. Joseph's Evening College, many of you must have not heard about St. Joseph's Evening College. I think Mr. Niranjan will be the best person to give you an explanation on that. It's a college that is meant for working students, to students who wants to work and study. They work during the day and come for classes at 5 o'clock. 5 to 9 is the class timing. And like any other regular college, it is affiliated to Bengaluru University, and you will get a certificate of Bengaluru University as well. It's a regular college. Timing is convenient for students who wants to work. I work there as a lecturer in the Department of Journalism and Mass Communication. So I am not from background of any of these topics that is given at the back. I have no idea about physics. I have no idea about the medical science, and I don't have no idea about Buddhist philosophy. Something I know, but not competent enough to give an explanation on that. And from my background, I can speak about teaching and learning experience. I believe and I have learned that teaching is a continuous process. Learning is a continuous process. It doesn't stop with the age. It doesn't stop with the time. It's a continuous process that we start the time that we are born till we die. There is no time that we need to say that we are stopping education, we are stopping learning. Education doesn't mean that we have to go and sit in the classrooms. Rather, I believe education happens to us every moment. When I meet a new person, when I meet a new situation, when I learn a new event, when I'm part of a seminar, a conference, or even in my interaction with any other people, I learn. So learning is a continuous process. According to media philosophy, it is rightly said, image is the brain, image speed up the learning process. That is why I have not prepared a PowerPoint. I have not prepared a PowerPoint because it is rightly said by the UGC that when there is some image placed next to the speaker, there is a tendency among the audience to see the image than listen to the speaker. I want you to listen to me than seeing the image that is placed there. So I have not prepared a PowerPoint. Okay. So the image speed up the learning process. Secondly, the media philosophy says that direct communication has a positive impact on the human brain than indirect communication. Okay. When we look at the history of education in our country, the education system of our country began with something that we call it as Gurukula system. Gurukula system was an oral system, an oral tradition where gurus or the learned people used to sit under the tree, and the disciples used to go in search of the master or learn from the wisdom that is given in the word format. Okay, or in a word. Move on. The second era came with the written learning. Finally, when the word has formed, the language was formed, the oral tradition of learning was moved on to the written tradition of learning, where the disciples or the students would learn from what is written earlier, past, present, and even about the future. And the third era is the era of media. That is, it is a combination of three: oral, written, and image. We have the media now. We are all in that era of learning where media gives you three combination of learning. That is the oral, they give you, they talk to you, they will show you. Okay, and you can also listen, written, you can also read it. Okay, and today we are living in a digital era. Okay, digital era has moved us into an interactive learning session. We are moving on to the interactive learning session where we have the combination of oral, written, image and direct communication. All four are combined: oral, written, image and direct communication.
Sally.
Okay.
Sally.
Yeah.
Please. You'll wrap up, please.
Okay.
Please.
Thank you. Yeah. So, as a student, my experience is learning is, there is a level of learning, because the attitude is what we need to look into the process of learning, is what I have experienced. It is what that motivates me to learn. The attitude is what motivates me to learn. If I am interested in some subject, I learn it well. If I have a negative outlook on some other subject, I don't learn well. Okay, this is what I have learned as a student, and since the time constraints, I will complete by saying that as a student, I believe it is my responsibility to find what method is best for me to learn than complaining about situations, events and people around. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sister Sally, for sharing your words of wisdom coming from the journalism and mass media communication, but really speaking about how we learn and also maybe how we can teach or share. So with that, I request our last student panel presenter, Mr. Samdrup Chopel, who's doing his MSc Computer Science at St. Joseph College, Bangalore. Thank you.
Hello, interstellar everyone. My name is Samdrup. My name is Samdrup, and actually I finished my studies, and currently I'm doing some certification course. And actually, what I thought was that when I heard the news that I'll be, doing this student panel discussion, I was very nervous because I don't have the background at the backside. Only the Buddhist philosophy a little bit because of my teachers who taught me during my high schools. I have a little bit of knowledge of that. And when I know about the sister, then I feel, oh, I'm not alone. I have some company here. Okay, so regarding the all those quantum entanglement, all those things, like actually, I wrote a little brief, yesterday during the lunch break, not about the what I learned, but about my feeling that I was beaten black and blue, because of those heavy topics and all. So I just wrote, I was beaten black and blue. And yeah, actually, jokes about, and I thought of sharing a story. That story is like, actually this story may not be appropriate, but I thought maybe through this story, I thought of, how to say, giving my examination. I'm right now taking the examination in front of all the speakers because they have taught something to us, and I'm trying to give my exam in front of them. And if there's any, like yesterday Dr. Nevedita told, if there's any wrong things, then this is myself. If there's any correct knowledge, I perceive that's all because of the teachers and all those speakers. And just a few days ago, I was having breakfast at the hostel, and a few of my usual companies were there, like a few of the panels on the stage. We were discussing, and the Bangalore Times paper came up, and we were discussing, oh, this star is very beautiful. I was telling them, oh, this is very beautiful. Then my friend told them, oh, this is not beautiful. Actually, this one is very beautiful. Another paper came. And we were just, we were literally, arguing whether which was more beautiful. And all of a sudden, one guy came, and we are expecting him to, settle the dispute between us. But he brought another paper, and this is one more beautiful. This one is more beautiful. Then we were, oh my goodness, and this dispute was not settled. But because of this conference, I came to realize, oh, it is not from the object itself, is from the perceiver's point of view. The beauty lies in the eyes of beholder. So I can, this is something I came to know about these things. And another one was that since actually I came from Tibet, and my younger brother is got already married and has a beautiful son, and I'm the elder one. And my mom used to worry a lot. Sometimes you have to find a girl. You have to settle your life. You are not small. Then she used to put a little bit pressure on me to get some partners. And during those time I thought of proposing to a girl, and I was thinking, oh, maybe she will say yes or no. And in the simple probabilistic point of view, what I heard, maybe it's yes, no. But all of a sudden I came to know about the Cupid. Not just yes or no. Maybe the person may say that, please give me 3 days to think over it. Maybe please give me 1 more month, think about it. And I was, oh, last time actually I experienced those kind of things. Maybe this comes under this context, like Cupid and entanglement. Oh, that's a certain kind of wow. And this morning actually the professor Ghosh told, actually this is very beautiful. It was really touching, because I'm staying right now at a hostel, and every time what you can see is that sometimes a girl and a boy sitting together, and they were talking something, and most of the times what from my perspective, maybe they're like boyfriend or girlfriend, and maybe they're like kind of brother and sister, maybe they are just classmates. All those kind of things, it's kind of how to say, contextuality. So when he was giving the example of the news was there, but the apprehension of the news will be differed to people who they apprehend about it because of their already perceived notion or information. So I was thinking, oh, during that time I thought there might be couples or boyfriend or girlfriend, right? Oh, they might not be. There's a lot of possibilities out there. I have to think a little bit carefully next time. So actually, there are many like such kind of things. And one of the things which really helped me was that I began to do a little bit of meditation during the early morning and before going to bed. And during those time, I do try to how to say shamelessly how to say do meditation on emptiness, even though I don't know about emptiness. Then this when all these 2 days, especially the first day when the day was ending, I got some kind of sense of that things really not exist objectively, but it based on the relative to the perspectives from their point of view, it does exist. Then there's a Tibetan word stanza is called like, if you really focus on that thing and you are search and you are checking on whether it exists or not, if you can't find anything from the object itself, it doesn't mean that it not exists. So this stanza was forced by my high school teacher while I was in school, and it really helped me nowadays. And it was oh, thank you, sir. So I will now come into conclusion with one question, is that a lot of people discuss about the consciousness and consciousness. Then I was thinking, what about the what happened to the consciousness when we die? So this is my kind of question, and thank you very much.
Thank you, Samdrukji. You really have the art of bringing the teachings directly into your life and connecting them with anecdotes in your life, which is very precious. So it's very felt. And there is a very elaborate exposition on what happens to the consciousness when one dies. But I will not go into that, but the information is very much available. So with that, I would really like to thank all the student panelists. I think it's a challenge to just have 5 minutes and be able to say something meaningful and profound in that time. And I'm really amazed how well you have made use of this opportunity, which just goes to show that even in 5 minutes, the whole world can change. So thank you very, very much, and for your enthusiasm and your sharing, and we wish you all the best. Thank you.
I would like to thank our moderator Tejalji and all the student panelists for this wonderful session. And I would request Tejalji to please present the souvenir and certificate to the student panelists. First we have Tenzil Ekdena. Miss Nima Budila, next. Miss Nima Budila. Kama Getsula. Miss Tinsi Desala. Sister Sally Josephs. And last but not least, Samdul Chumila, please. Thank you. And now we will begin our valedictory session.
We have now come to the conclusion of the two-day conference on quantum physics, brain function in modern science and Buddhist philosophy. I request Venerable Geshe Dojidamdula, Director Tibet House, and Ms. Shanti Yajnik, Director Choko Sumning Center, and Shri Vijay Prasad Ji, President Indian Institute of World Culture, to come on the stage for the valedictory session. May I request Venerable Geshe Dojidamdula to chair the valedictory session. Thank you.
Okay, so this is coming to the conclusion of the two-day program, our conference. So we have the next program, meaning the end of the program is going to happen soon after this. So we'll make it very quick. First, let me invite the Shri Vijay Prasadji, the President of the Indian Institute of World Culture, to share with us as to how we can enrich this program in the near future, how to make it accessible to more number of people. And so I'll give the mic to
Good evening. It's amazing to see such a big crowd, that too on a weekday, for 2 days, 8 hours sitting tight without any distraction, totally involved with the session and seeking the various knowledge. It is highly impossible these days. As a president, we do conduct multiple programs here. We find it difficult to get people to sit here, despite bringing several eminent leaders, very good topics, and even having come some audience, hold on to them is a very difficult thing. That way, I congratulate you all for having spent 2 days here with full tide and with full involvement. And it is really very, very nice to see you all here. I know you all had, as a participant, had a wonderful time the last 2 days, listening to various leading panelists with various questions, seeking the clarifications. It was a good workshop, the synergy between philosophy and science. Conscious through science will only advance technically, that is the mental, physical science through, whereas the consciousness through philosophy will definitely will take us to human and bring in more humanity. Whereas the science is technically we get advanced. We all run with the science technology these days with artificial intelligence and much bigger. But those things will not take us to get the humanity and human services. I always request many scientists, we should do something to bring the science advancement through improve the humanity and human services. We all bring the human technology through bringing the stability to the mental and other things, but the bringing humanity to human services is a very difficult and very important thing, especially in these days. We IAWC encourage more and more similar workshops, and I request the Tibet House and CKSL and similar organizations to come with us so that we can conduct many more such programs in the days to come. We are always supportive. Also, I have seen very eminent panelists, eminent speakers. As a president of IAWC, I request all these people to join hands with IAWC so that we can conduct many more individual lectures on a variety of days and we can enlighten the people with your great knowledge. I thank the organizers, especially Tibet House and CKSL, and especially to you people for having taken this 2-day journey to a great successful event. Thank you.
Thank you, Shri Vijay Prasad ji. And so for sure there's going to be great collaboration among three of the hosts in the future as well. And I'm very happy, particularly Shri Prasad ji, during the break time, he very clearly mentioned that this is something very unique, that the people, how they're able to maintain the rigor of the attention for the 2 days. Usually in for one program for 2 hours, people find it very difficult to maintain the attention. So this is something we have been very inspired, and thank you so much for your great collaboration and for your warmth. So next I'd like to invite Ms. Shandi Yashnik ji, and who I personally feel that she's like the bedrock for Sugar Sumning Center, and it has been all these many years that I could see her how herself is a great admirer and enthusiast of the studies of greater knowledge and applying this knowledge into the practice, and then actually creating a platform for the people to learn more and to spread this message of love and affection through CKSL. So let me invite Ms. Shandi Yashnik ji to share her thoughts and to see how we can enrich the collaboration further.
Thank you very much, Venerable Geshe Doji Damdul and Shri Prasad for helping organize this conference. Of course, as you all know, the reality is it's all vision of Geshe-la to help us, Chogur Sumling people to widen our horizons and to learn better. He's also been a good support, coming and teaching regularly once or twice a year, doing retreats in Bangalore. So it's been wonderful for us as an inspiration, and many of us are students of the Nalanda Diploma and Nalanda Master's course, which is an online course. which I'll talk about a little later. So personally for me, I don't want to take your time. I just say personally for me, I've been studying for coming to the center and listening to talks by great teachers for 15 years, and it has helped me a lot. It's helped me in many ways, just learning about reality and learning about compassion and how they go, learning them both together, and of course the length and breadth of Buddhist philosophy as is presented in our center, and I'm sure in Tibet House also. So through this I have matured a lot, and I'm sure a lot of people have benefited. So if you all also feel inspired on these days to learn about one part, I know the science part, quantum physics, is probably new to some of our center members, but if you want to learn more about Buddhism, there's always there's an Nalanda diploma course, which is an online course. You can still look at the Tibet House website for information on that, and the registration is up to 31st January, so you still have time to sign up. And of course, the same topics are taught at our center, Chokur Sumling CKSL. Welcome to join our mailing list and come to the programs, and these are taught face to face, so it's a different thing. For many people it's much more wholesome. It's much easier to learn that way, and we have very qualified teachers, and we have programs every weekend, mostly every weekend, for the professionals and students in Bangalore. I like to thank everyone, all the speakers, the participants, the organizers, and even my teachers over the years, especially our four venerables who come to our center so regularly, for their support and their teachings. And also our center members for keeping it all together over these years through the hard work and dedication. And I thank all of you for paying attention, being interested in these topics, and I'm sure it will help you a lot. And I hope learning about a little bit about quantum physics and neuroscience was interesting to you. So with that, I hand it over to Geshe-la.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Shandi Yajnik-ji. So basically, from these 2 days, what we all notice is that there's a tremendous questions coming up from the audience, the youngsters, the students, to the experts and the presenters. So this clearly indicates the amount of the passion and the desire to learn more. The only things that we need the platform. So so this conference, I think that from this we can see that the need to have more of these conferences, number one. Then number two, the reach out to the people, say the youngsters. The last 2 days, we see that there's a tremendous inquiry coming, always meeting with the experts and so forth. So if this what is happening on this scale here, no doubt there are so many. Bangalore is like for the millions of youngsters here, where all these youngsters, they also have this passion and desire for knowledge, but the things that reach out, this is what we need to really work on. And they particularly from the two things. One is from the interactions happening during the 2 days with experts from the audience side, and then the students panel discussion from there. We can see the questions coming up from the inquiries come from inside, which is very inspiring. So for that matter, what I would say is that we need to really work on how to reach out to the larger audience in the future. Like there are so many so many colleges here in Bangalore, and then particularly the target, the youngsters, they are just, had it not been the case that there's such programs here or elsewhere, then the youngsters, what they're doing, so much of a waste of their time. That's what is happening. So therefore, we have to think of two things. One is how to organize such programs more, and then number two, how to reach out to the youngsters, colleges, universities, and so forth. And then the next thing that I'd like to share with you here is that the knowledge-wise, many of the college students, the students' panel discussion from there, what we come to realize is that they felt that this is overwhelmingly a huge topic, vast topic, profound topic, which we did not really learn anything. The fact is that it's a matter of time. So even these great experts, they took like many years. It is only through the opportunity that one gets, like this conference. It's so a great opportunity for us to learn from these great experts. Otherwise, we'll not get opportunity. At the most, we talk about quantum physics. That's it. Or the technicalities, will never get opportunity to hear about these things. It's a great opportunity, and in fact, it's my personal experience. Many years ago, when I was in my monastery, where I was learning, where I attended one class, which was senior, 1 year senior to me, and then I thought that I'm not too dull a student, and then I realized that I could not understand anything. And then the next time I attended the teaching on the same text, but the second teacher was just browsing through the text very fast without much explanation, but I could understand it, almost everything. From there, I got the conviction that it's a matter of opportunity, that don't miss the opportunity, take the opportunity, and over time you reach there. This is guaranteed. And there are some very important questions which came along the students' panel discussion. One is about the consciousness. What exactly is consciousness? And then when you die, what happens with consciousness? And then even one of the speakers, the very good the presentation made, and then they say the neural firings. So there's the emerging property happening in the form of consciousness. But one thing that we need to keep in mind is that the same when you are sleeping, when you're awake, there's one agent which Tejala beautiful president. There's one agent which travels all alone in the form of I am happy, I'm not happy, I am Dorji. There is this sense of this sense of the agent there which travels all the way down, which the neuroscience doesn't touch. Neuroscience simply touches the neural firings. So these firings may not necessarily happen at the same spot 24 hours. It happens at different spots, but there's a constant flow of the experience. While you sleep, you wake up, I had a good day sleep, oh, it was a disturbed sleep. So there's a flow. There's something flowing there, which is the central, the centrality of the universe is this flow. This flow, what we call is that within me, this agent which knows that I'm happy, I'm not happy. I need to learn about quantum physics, or quantum physics is overwhelmingly complicated. So all these, there's some mind which the discerns, or which understands it, which experiences. So there's a constant flow there. This is what the neuroscience, for the time being, they are very reductionist in their approach, and over time they may be very most likely there's going to be paradigm shift, without which they cannot explain many of the mental activities. Then the next part is the okay. So I don't want to take much time, and then as the Shantila very clearly indicated that the Tibet House will have the Nalanda Tibetan studies, and of course we see that the people who are taking interest in these, some of them they go to some teachings like 2-day teaching, 3-day teaching, so forth. They're learning, and those who are learning very systematically, their learning is very different. Those who learn systematically, eventually they get a very holistic picture. It is like the expert. Whereas no matter how many years you spend, if you learn it without any systematic the pattern, then it's like an amateur. You always remain as an amateur. So therefore, the Nalanda Diploma Course second batch is still, the enrollment is open till like 31st, and it's there. And then I always encourage
that the many youngsters, they approached me, and then I said that if you're really interested to know what the mind is, if you're really interested to know how to tackle your emotions, and you are in Bangalore, why don't you, say, take the maximum advantage of being here in Bangalore by going to Chakra Summoning Center, and then there's the teachers are visiting the center there, and then the online is one thing, but then to meet a teacher, you can speak, you can share your thoughts, you listen, you learn. This is a great opportunity. So because the thing is, it's not about ism, it's about your well-being. Your well-being, you should be a happy person. It's not about that you should be a Buddhist, Hindu, Muslim, Jains, and so forth. The thing is that you should be a happy person, and that you should not be a disturbance to your family. That you should be a family, the happiness creator, the creator of happiness in your family. Don't let your parents suffer. Don't let your children suffer. Don't let your husband, wife suffer. So for that matter, you need to learn how to manage your emotions. So Chokor Sumling would be incredibly great opportunity for one to learn these things. So I would say that the interest shown by the participants for the last 2 days, this is really, really, really unparalleled, phenomenal. And then the experts, all the experts, I should not conclude this without mentioning one name, Professor Sissy Roy. Professor Sissy Roy, unfortunately, we miss him. Otherwise, many of the participants, they were asking me as to how come that you're able to draw all these experts in various fields, and how come you're able to do that? It's all because of this Professor Sissy Roy, who is my very close friend since 2005, and he's a part of he was a part of the Calcutta Statistical Institute, and now he's a part of NIAS here in Bangalore, and he could not attend this conference for some of the obligations, so he's the one who's behind recruiting all these experts from last many years of our friendship, and so I need to give credit to him. And then also all these things happen simply because the vision behind all these things, for example, like Chokor Sumling being there, and then Tibet House being there, and then we being able to organize this program on the physics, quantum physics, neuroscience, Buddhist philosophy in here, in the Institute of World Culture, is all because of the vision and the blessings of His Holiness the Dalai Lama. So let us make it a point that such an incredibly enlightened being, His Holiness the Dalai Lama, that he lives long and that his wishes be fulfilled spontaneously, so the world will continue to reap the benefit of his enlightened activities, who always dream, who always they have vision for the world, for the betterment of the world, that the world should come closer, world should become the one entity as brothers and sisters, the home of harmony for everyone. So this is our prayers, and thank you each and everyone, all the participants and all the students and the students at the panel. I really appreciate each one of your participation, and then all the observers, participants. Your participation made this very rich. We've been very inspired. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Geshe-la. Now we have come to the conclusion. I would like to express my deepest gratitude to all the speakers for taking their precious time in participating in this conference. I would like to thank Venerable Geshe Dorji Damdila, Director Tibet House, for always guiding us with his vast wisdom and bringing this conference together. I would like to thank Ms. Shanti Yajnik ji, Director CKSL Bangalore, and Shri Vijay Prasad ji, President Indian Institute of World Culture. I also would like to thank all my colleagues of Tibet House who are present here today and who are in Delhi working behind the scene. I also would like to thank all the kind volunteers of CKSL and staff of Indian Institute of World Culture. To express our gratitude to all the staff and volunteers of these three organizers, I request Ms. Shanti Yajnik to honor them with khada. From Tibet House, we have Mr. Tsiring Tuntubla, Ms. Tenzin Degyongla, Mr. Kesang Jimila, and from Mr. Kesang Jimila, from CKSL, Mr. Niranjan Umapati, Ms. Smita Lahiri, Ms. Sanika Gupta, Mr. Neeraj Gupta, Ms. Sadhna Nagendra, Mr. Tenzin Wangdu, Mr. Ravi Kumar, Ms. Archana Bharti, Ms. Deepti Sarkar, Mr. Ratnakar Gokhale, Ms. Shanti Gopinath, Ms. Shagun Maheshwari, from Indian Institute of World Culture, we would like to thank Mr. Venkatesh ji, Mr. Ram Prasad ji, and Mr. Shrikant ji. Thank you, Ms. Shanti ji. Last but not the least, I would like to thank all the audience for actively participating in this conference. I hope you all will join us in our future conferences as well. Thank you.